Oh, what is up, Instagram? I'm going live on Instagram. This is the second time I've ever gone live on Instagram, but I just felt like I really wanted to clear the air on this Cardi B nonsense. So first and foremost, Cardi, I watched your story and it sounds very funny. First off, I'm saying it's funny because it's just ridiculous to me that you even take anything that I said as offensive when I'm telling you the truth. And I think if anything, you're only upset because people are telling you on Twitter that you got dragged, because you did get dragged, because you are uneducated when it comes to politics. That's first things first. I was not, I'm sure Ben Shapiro was not, we were not meaning to attack you. We're just simply telling the truth, which is the fact that Joe Biden did not spend the whole year in his basement to come up because he's a big Cardi B fan and sit down with you. He thinks you're an idiot. And you know, I just am encouraging you to stop proving him right when you say ridiculous things like, I had to sit down with Joe Biden because my sister got attacked by a Trump supporter, Santa Claus, making it seem like Trump supporters are homophobic. A little education for you, Cardi B. Donald J. Trump is the first president that's ever gone into office in support of gay marriage. So, you know, those 8 years that your presidential candidate Joe Biden spent as a vice president with Obama, they didn't support gay marriage going into office. Obama changed his tune on gay marriage in his second term. So the whole idea of Trump being a homophobe is a bit pointedly ridiculous and shows how uneducated you are. Then you came and you were talking about raising your taxes when you were on talking to Joe Biden, saying that you want your taxes lowered, but at the same time you want universal health care. That's ignorant and stupid. And Joe Biden knows it's ignorant and stupid. Even all the people that want free healthcare and universal healthcare acknowledge that tax rates have to be astronomical to be able to support that. So you're talking about a 74% tax rate. You continually keep saying you have a number one song. It means shit. Nobody cares about a song about your wet ass pussy. Excuse my language for my followers. Being number one. I have a number one song in the UK. I have a number one song in Australia. I have a number one song in New Zealand. That has nothing to do with Black America and whether or not you are helping or hurting. Right now, you are hurting Black America. Okay? When you stand on a platform and you pretend to care about Black men, when you ask Joe Biden, what are we going to do about these Black men dying? He should have asked you back, what are Black men going to do about Black men dying? Because 94% of Black men are killed by other Black men. Okay? We don't have an issue with police officers. In fact, if you go into those inner cities and you go into those projects, they need more policing. So you're a fraud. You're sitting here saying, making it seem like you're afraid of police officers. Are you afraid of your husband? You're more likely to be killed by your husband, way more likely to be killed by your husband than you are by a police officer. And you know that, right? You know that Black men kill more white men. You know that police officers are killed by Black men 18 and a half times more, right? So don't use your platform and 75 million people to make it seem like police officers are the issue. You're uneducated. I mean, that is just what it is. You are uneducated. And I don't have a problem, by the way, with musicians and rappers and hip hop artists dabbling in politics if they're sincere. What I mean by that is, are you talking to people on both sides? Are you trying to actually get an informed understanding, or are you just being a mouthpiece for one party? Charlemagne the God has multiple people on his platform. He's talked to Republicans. He's friends with Senator Tim Scott, talks to him. He's a Trump supporter. He's had presidential candidates on his show, on The Breakfast Club. But he asks serious questions. He doesn't sit down with Joe Biden and say, oh, grr. In fact, Joe Biden wasn't comfortable when Charlemagne the God was sitting down and speaking to him because Charlemagne the God was asking so many difficult questions. He wasn't just giving him a Santa Claus list like you are. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, and none of it makes sense. If you're serious about politics, if you're serious about trying to use your platform for good, then you need to educate yourself. That's literally all anybody is saying to you, is that you need to actually educate yourself and do the work. By the way, I'm not in your zone, you're in mine. Okay, so I get tired of your commenters and your fans saying, oh, she's clout chasing. I'd be clout chasing if I was challenging you to a rap battle. I'm not doing that. You're in my area. You're in politics. You're embarrassed because you realize you know nothing about anything when you're on Twitter. You actually told a lie just now to all of your followers. You said, oh, Trump, you said Trump told people to drink bleach. He never did that. Then you said Trump laughs when Black men get shot by police officers. How do you just put out a lie like that? How do you consider yourself to be a serious person when you just outwardly lied to all of your followers? You know he's never laughed at a Black man dying at police officers' hands. You know that for a fact. You can't pull a clip. Not even CNN, with all of their bullshit and lies, has ever claimed that Donald Trump laughs when Black men die at police officers. But you told that lie in a tweet. Why did you tell that lie? because you're a fraud. So I'm calling you out on being a political fraud. You pretend you want to help, you don't. You don't. You don't know why you're a Democrat. You have no idea why you hate Republicans. You have no idea why you're on the side of the party that enslaved black people, that segregated black people, and standing behind a man that supported segregation. Joe Biden supported segregation. He said it's what black people wanted. So let's just recap all of that. You're concerned about homophobia. For the 8 years that Joe Biden was in office, him and Obama didn't support gay marriage until the second term, but not when he was running for the second term. They didn't support gay marriage going into that office. You claim that you're concerned about racism and dying black men, yet you want to defund police officers. That makes entirely no sense. You cannot defund the people that are actually protecting black people. Black people need more policing in their neighborhoods, not less of it. And by the way, in those neighborhoods, there are black police officers that are dying because it tends to be that police officers look like the neighborhoods that they're policing. So you are actually standing on a platform for more black men to die, for taxes to be raised, right? For a man that has a very atrocious race record to be put into office, who looked at you the entire time like he was confused when you were talking because he knew that you were nothing but a puppet for him to be able to get a platform. That's it. You're a puppet. They use you. Okay? And you want to sit here and talk about Trump using me, or like, what do you talk about? Using me for what? I don't work for the RNC. I don't get paid by the Trump campaign. I say what I believe. You don't know what to do when you're looking at a black woman that's free. That's what your problem is. I am telling you who I support, and I'm educated. And I'm challenging you to become educated. I'm challenging you to sit down with black conservatives, okay, and have a meaningful conversation and a dialogue about what you actually want, and to actually try to understand the economics behind what you want, and to try to understand why it is you're actually supporting a man that does not care about black lives and never has, and has been in office for decades and hasn't changed anything, and you're blaming Trump? It makes no sense. You hate Trump because they told you to hate Trump. You gave me no valid reasons for hating Trump. Not a single one, not even one valid reason for why you hate Trump. You just think you're supposed to because you're a puppet. That's what happens when you get big. Look, Cardi, I enjoyed you a lot on Love and Hip Hop. I thought you were hilarious. Second I first saw you on TV, I said to my cousin, she's going to be a star because she has that it factor. She's very funny, you know, she's confident, and she says ridiculous things. I think you belong on TV. I don't believe you belong in the realm of politics unless you're willing to get serious about it. In conclusion, tonight I was just signing books, and I'm going to send you one because you need one. You need to learn. You need to black out. You need to Blexit. You need to learn about the real history of the Democrat Party. See that subtitle? How Black America can make its second escape from a Democrat plantation. You want to know why it says second, Cardi, and not first? Because we were enslaved by Democrats, not Republicans. Okay? We were enslaved by Democrats, not Republicans. So I'm going to sign you a copy. Get in touch with my agent and get in touch with your agent. I'm going to send it to your house. Okay? How's that for WAP? Okay? Bye.
Here is some of the police audio of the Blake call, the Jacob Blake call. It turns out that the police were called to the situation knowing there was a man there with an open warrant who was apparently harassing a woman and stealing her keys. So, no, he was not there, apparently, by the police audio, to break up a fight. He was not a good Samaritan. He resisted arrest. We don't know what was in his hand. You don't walk away from the cops while they're pointing guns at your back and then reach into your car unless you want to get shot. That is an idiotic move. It doesn't mean that this is a fully justified shooting. It means it's going to be very difficult to prosecute police officers when literally you buck the police officers off your back, walk away from them while you're under, there's an open warrant for his arrest, right? They're arresting him. He bucks the police officers off his back, and then he walks around the side of his car and reaches into the car. Okay, there's an open warrant out for domestic abuse, and he's got 3 kids in the back of the car. What are they supposed to do? Let him go? Explain this to me. Seriously, explain this to me. But apparently this is worthy of burning down the entire city of Kenosha and every major politician in America, claiming that this is an incident of police brutality and police racism. Here is some of the radio scanner audio of the Blake call that caused the police to show up in the first place.
707 2805 40th Street, 28054 Street. Complainant says Jacob Blake isn't supposed to be there, and he took the complainant's keys and is refusing to give them back. Headquarters 618 707, just for 43. We have an alert at this address for 99 for that subject.
707 for your shot fired.
Copy, shot fired.
We need rescue ASAP.
Okay, within 40 seconds, the rescuers were on their way. That's why Jacob Blake is still alive. Okay, so they knew that he was a felon. There was an open warrant for him. The 911 was called because he had stolen keys from a woman. Okay, this was not the case of innocent black man being pulled over by the police for no reason, complying with all police orders, and then being shot for his trouble. That is not what this case was. Not from the beginning, not now. But it doesn't matter, because our media and our politicians have an interest in polarizing the debate and suggesting that America is systemically racist, and thus every flashpoint shooting that is caught on tape is evidence of police racism. This has driven piece of human debris Sean King, an absolutely awful human being, to tweet out, and Bernie Sanders delegate, by the way, to the Kenosha Police Department. If you do not name the officer who brutally shot Jacob Blake on Sunday, we will simply begin naming officers from your department who may or may not be him. Eff it. Your protection of his identity is unethical. What's his name? Well, maybe they're not naming him because pieces of crap like Sean King are then going to activate a bunch of people to harass the police officer in the absence of evidence and the absence of an investigation. Maybe because this mob justice is no justice at all. It's just garbage people doing garbage things. Maybe it's that, Sean King. And by the way, the fact that Sean King is doing this is unbelievable, considering that there is a person who actually committed suicide not all that long ago because Sean King misidentified him as a particular criminal. According to ABC13.com, this is just last year, Robert Paul Cantrell, 49, was found by staff at the Montgomery County Jail early on Tuesday, July 29th. He was found dead in his cell. He was hanged in an apparent suicide. Staff tried to revive him and perform CPR. He was in jail on a charge of robbery evading. He was wrongly accused in the shooting death of a 7-year-old earlier this year. Why? Because Sean King put up a Twitter post of his picture. It was the wrong guy. So definitely I want Sean King to be in charge of mob justice in the United States. Great move, everybody. Really, really strong stuff here. Mob justice is no justice. Social justice, by the way, is also no justice. Individual justice is the only kind of justice that matters. But have you noticed that people are studiously avoiding individual justice? We don't look at the individual circumstances of cases. All we do is we look at the color of the people involved and then make a snap decision on what exactly happened. I don't know what happened in these shootings last night. You don't either yet. We'll find out. I don't have all the details on Jacob Blake, but I'm happy to wait until all of the details come out. You know what nobody else is happy to do? Wait until all the details come out, because they have a pre-existing narrative by which mob justice and social justice matter more than individual justice. The minute that you add any modifier to justice other than the word individual, you are now part of the bad guy crew. You are the problem, not the solution. Individual justice is the solution, not collective justice, not social justice, and certainly not the mob justice that we are seeing right now. Jamal Bowman, who is a person who's about to enter Congress. He just took over Elliot Engel's seat in a primary. He's one of the new members of the squad. Here's what he tweeted out. We need Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to condemn the armed militias that killed 2 people in Kenosha yesterday while working in tandem with local police. These militias are domestic terrorists looking to incite a race war. Protecting private property is cover for their agenda. So in other words, if you showed up and you protected your own private property, according to Jamal Bowman, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden should condemn you. But